First of all, John, tell me about these Final Fantasy XVI rumors that are spilling up.
So, like you set it up, it's perfect right now. We're in this lull of let's talk about rumors. Well, Final Fantasy XIV actually had a 14-hour live stream, and they talked to practically everyone. And what happened was apparently the director of Final Fantasy 16 came out and was actually interviewed, and he got a little bit of the nuggets what was going on with 16. And through that live stream, we found out that the VO for English is almost done. Yoshi P, the director, confirmed this. All scenarios are set in stone, so that's pretty good. Everything's set up correctly. Development's going well. Unfortunately, we're not going to get anything out of TGS. Like, when we finally see Final Fantasy 16, it's going to be, hey, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get stuff like the battle systems, anything that they haven't shown off, and apparently a release date. Yoshi P really, really wants you to go, here's the game. I want to buy it. Here's when you can buy it pretty soon after. And so, like, he doesn't like the trickle out concept when it comes to that. And I respect it. I 100% respect this idea. And what's nice is that they actually put out a statement before this live stream that happened earlier this month saying that we'll find out more, a nice little news dump in 2021. And so it's one of those things that you just kind of need to. Sorry, that threw me off real fast. We have a producer, we have a person behind the scenes that really threw me off.
Give her a name. Don't just call her the faceless demon, the Phantom of the Opera.
I'm someone you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So we actually have a producer now who's telling me to talk slower. But no, it's cool because people are excited that we're actually going to get something this year. They've said that they're going to give us something. And then from that, it's kind of the weird, hey, it's going to give us the release date. And so a lot of people I've seen online are jumping on it could possibly be coming out in 2021. I think you people are insane. I think it's going to be a 6 months thing. I think we're going to get the trailer. It's going to be a cool trailer. I'm going to be honest. I actually really dug the trailer from 2019. Or no, it was early 2020, actually, when they announced the PlayStation 5 and what it looked like. Mm-hmm. I think the trailer looks great. I'm kind of really pumped about it. I'm not traditionally a Final Fantasy fan. Part 1 really hooked me, and now I really want to jump into 15, but 16 looks like freaking awesome. So I'm pretty pumped about it, but I am holding down my expectations because 1, it's a Square game. 2, it's a Final Fantasy game, and time is nothing. Time is meaningless when it comes to all of that stuff, so you might as well just like calm everything down. It's going to happen. It just might not happen as fast as everyone wants it to. Don't get built up. Just let it happen when it happens.
Wow. What a rising call to action for the Square Enix. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. When do you personally think we're seeing this game?
Well, okay. So I was on the bandwagon of we'll probably see something at TGS. Obviously, they said that's not happening, so I think this is going to be kind of that weird. Actually, you know what? I think we're probably going to see something when we see Horizon Forbidden West. I'm pretty much. I feel like we're guaranteed one more like Horizon Zero West state of play. Mm-hmm. Horizon Forbidden West state of play. But they always kind of throw in nuggets there, so it'd be kind of cool if we got the beginning part of Horizon. Hey, it's coming. We get 2 release dates pretty much. We get Horizons, and then we get Final Fantasy 16. I think you end on that one because people kind of know what they're kind of getting out of Horizon, and it's just more of Aloy, more of that story, which is great. Nothing complaining about that one. With Final Fantasy 16, we don't really know battle systems or anything like that, so I think getting a little bit of that, and hey, it's like probably somewhere September, October-ish, and then first half of 2022. I'll say first half of 2022. I don't know because again, it's Final Fantasy. I think that would be a sweet spot for them because I'm depending on where God of War lands because we know this is a platform exclusive, timed exclusive. So depending on where God of War lands is kind of where I think they should put Final Fantasy 16.
That little presentation you spelled out about the Horizon and then the Final Fantasy stuff, that sounds like a banger state of play.
Yes.
Like, but do you think
get a little bit of everything?
But you just told me last week like we're not going to get something of that scale. So are you just a hypocrite or what's going on here?
You son of a bitch.
It's not my fault that your memory is bad. You can't say. Anyway, I think the closest that we could possibly get this game is Gamescom, or the next reveal of the game, I should say, is Gamescom Opening Night Live with Jeff Keighley. Probably the furthest away we could get it is, again, another Keighley event, which is the Game Awards.
Actually, I was about to say it could be Game Awards. I think Keighley's pretty cool on that one. I mean, he brought us back Elden Ring, so I can see him going, hey, I got something for you guys. Final Fantasy XVI, and there you go.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because Keighley, he finally shrugged off the Elden Ring stuff. He was freed from gamer prison, but now he's set the bar so high that every event he does now, there has to be an Elden Ring. But I wonder if it's going to be at either of those two events, because, as you said, Sony revealed it alongside their PS5 showcase at the beginning, and so I wonder if they, because they have the marketing rights to it, I wonder, are they going to want to have it solely at their event? Is there going to be a Final Fantasy XVI State of Play? The only other way I can see it, if it's not a Sony event, which I don't think is likely, at least not before Gamescom, and will probably not be one before the Game Awards, I would guess.
Yeah.
So I imagine then it will be some sort of Square Enix hosted event. I don't know if they've done like a Final Fantasy Con or whatever, or a Final Fantasy thing this year where they've talked about all of their different things going with that. But I think you're right. Definitely 6 months, I think, is the sweet spot for any game. For the maximum amount of hype from announcement to release, with a few exceptions. For one thing, I feel like, again, going back to Elden Ring, I feel like because of the power of memes, I feel like that's one game that has done better because of the long hype cycle. It's now in a place where it's like almost a state of relief for that game. But I feel like with the Square Enix fan base, there is a exhaustion almost with these long hype cycles for games, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, etc. So I don't think... I feel like it's very prudent for the creators of this one to come out and say, hey, it will be a short span between these two things happening, the next reveal and the release date. But I don't know.
I also wonder... Yeah, Keeler might pull it off. I think that'd be great. I'm kind of with you. Like, how will Sony actually pull this off? Because you're right, it is marketing under them. But I also think about, like, Strangers in Paradise. That's scheduled for 2022. I went to Square Enix's website just to see, like, what they have stacked up. Final Fantasy 16 is on the very, very bottom. Kind of says it says TBA. And then they have Strangers in Paradise at 2022. So, like, how do you maneuver all of that when you got Strangers in Paradise, which is Final Fantasy, Bloodborne, Dark Souls? You have Elden Ring coming out in January. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they plan this out. Like, maybe this is literally a May game, May or June, right before E3, and you do have it come like a state of play in December. I'm not 100% sure. I do respect Yoshi P and his concept of he wants to show you the game and he wants you to play it as fast as humanly possible. I like that. I think a lot of more game developers need to do that. Tell us you're making the game, shut up for a good year and a half, whatever you need to do, and then come back out and say, hey, here's another trailer. It's in 3 weeks. Please don't do that. That'll freak everyone out, but it's in like 6 months. I think that is like you said, it is the perfect spot to get people hyped. It doesn't die. And then there you go play your game.
It's got to be weird being a Square Enix, like, back-end person, like, working on the website or whatever, because you know that any little thing that you put on an official Square Enix something is going to get picked up by someone. Like, if they didn't put TBA there, if they put 2022, there would have been a million Final Fantasy fans jumping on that. Fixing my camera here. So, like, them doing TBA doesn't mean that much to me. That's just them basically hiding in the shadows and not ready to reveal anything yet. I still think Tim is a fool for thinking this game is coming out in 2021. I feel like
100%.
Maybe that was true at one point, but no longer, for sure. So
with the first trailer that came out, it wouldn't have been, if they kind of kept it going and kept the hype up, I would have kind of jumped on board with the 2021 concept, but they went quiet right after that trailer dropped, and I'm like, there is no way in the world that game's coming out this month. Is it done? Is it closer to being done? I 100% agree. They wouldn't say any of this, like the voice acting stuff. They wouldn't say that if it's like, not in the 90 percentile of being done. So I think we're close. It just depends on when Square and Sony want to actually show it to us.
Yeah, it's sort of best laid plan stuff. In my head, looking back, I wonder if there was a Square Enix plan for 2021 is going to be 16. 2022 is going to be Strangers of Paradise. 2023 will be Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then 2024 will be the next online thing, the thing after 14.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool slate to have. Obviously, it's knocked everything off. I don't know what the rumor mill is on Final Fantasy VII Part 2, whether 2023 is too soon for that. I don't know.
It's a race. Everything I see online is like, what's going to come out first, 16 or Final Fantasy Part 2?
Yeah.
Apparently 2 is smaller, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat or in comments, whatever. It's going to be a lot different. I know Keith has said, like, apparently like they're kind of taking it, squeezing it, making it smaller, and it's going to be deviate from what everyone's used to in Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
What I've heard is that they might deviate from the original story.
Okay.
So they'll probably deviate from the original story. It won't be exactly the same as the original. I think it's still going to be in line with Part 1.
Mm-hmm. Again, having not played it, I feel like Final Fantasy VII, for the part that this handled of the original game, it felt like it scaled very well. And from what limited knowledge I do know about what happens next in the story, I feel like that would be way harder to scale. So yeah, they'd have to take some creative liberties there, I would guess. That's my purely uninformed opinion on that. 16, I feel like could do some way crazier shit.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I feel like they have a good idea of what that game is, maybe a bit more than... There's a bit less writing on it than 7-2, but again, there's a lot of hype going in 16 still, so we'll see how that turns out. My prediction is Game Awards, with a June, May-ish release date for this.
I'll take you up on that one. I think you're probably right. I think it makes the most sense, because we don't know what's coming out in the December area of let's get hype for next year, because we don't know what's coming out in 2022. We got Elden Ring. That's the only thing I'm excited for, and possibly Breath of the Wild too.